all please rise for the pledge to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all. Okay, we doing Bravos first?
Yeah.
Okay, the first section is just talking about things going on in our district. So if anybody wants to jump in here, Brian and I will too.
I'll go. Before our next meeting in October, 2 of our schools have their big fundraisers. On Friday, September 16th, Woodville will have their spaghetti dinner. And then on Sunday, the 18th, will be the Big Top Festival. And I'm told by a little birdie that around 4 o'clock on Sunday, that something big is going to happen by the dunking booth.
5 o'clock is all the action.
Oh,
5 o'clock, is that after you?
That's what
you're
it
gonna
is.
sneak in there and then sneak out, or?
The crowd needs to be there at 5 o'clock for Mr. Guessing. That's when it needs to happen.
So the 4 o'clock's warm.
Okay, 4 to 5.
Not acceptable.
And then Hullabaloo is on October 1st. I don't know the times. Do you know the time? Oh, she's not here. Oh, there she is.
Time for Hullabaloo.
10 to 5.
10 to 5.
Okay.
Okay,
There you go.
perfect. Okay. Anything else?
That's all.
Okay. I have a couple of things. I want to congratulate Kelly Booth. You know, last year Kelly Booth wrote a grant with the foundation for the Holocaust Museum. And so she's being honored as a Greater Cincinnati Educator of the Year through the Holocaust Museum. And she's on their board, so we're pretty excited about that. It makes me really happy because that's one of the things about, I see some foundation people in here, of the foundation always wanting to do. You know, not only just giving something, but putting people together and the sustainability of it. So we're pretty excited about that. And also Rachel Stevenson, who is our new counselor in the high school, is the NKU Graduate Student of the Year. We hired her even before we knew that, didn't we? Mm-hmm. Yeah. She did her internship last year with Highlands and did such a good job, so she's one of our counselors. So, all right, you have anything?
I think you covered it all.
Good. All right, Brian, you got things you want to add to it?
Yeah, a couple things, and we said this last month, but Robin Kemp, we want to wish her best of luck. On the 22nd, she will be in Frankfurt, and she's one of our finalists for Kentucky Teacher of the Year. So she's one of the 4 high school finalists, so they'll announce it there, but regardless, we're really, really proud of how far she's gone to represent Fort Thomas schools, and we'll be one of, no matter what, she's a semifinalist for Kentucky Teacher of the Year. It's also been really exciting to see some of the open houses and Grandparent Days, and there's just a lot of energy in the school, so I wanted to point that out. We also have a presentation. Mr. Darnell gave me this right before the meeting. We'll have a presentation on ACT, and we're seeing some movement upward. But he's had some posters printed, which recognizes 35 of our Highlands Bluebirds that have a 30-plus cumulative ACT for this year. So pretty significant accomplishment for really high achievers within the high school programs. Nice work to not only the high school, but for the middle school and the elementary schools that are preparing our kids to achieve at really high levels amongst the highest. Some bravos going around that way.
I want to talk about Grandparent Days, because that's one of the things. People were really excited to get back in the buildings, and I was just talking to Dr. Labor about it. Over the weekend, the number of people that wanted to tell me about going, and it just dawned on me, we've had a couple years where you couldn't get into buildings, and so it's fun that people are back in and seeing what's going on. I always talk about joy. There's lots of joy talking about getting to be back and see their kids, so it was awesome. So thank you for hosting those elementaries. Okay, anything else?
Nope,
All right, so our first student showcase is Johnson Elementary. So Jill Booth, are you going to come up here and?
Our students are waiting out in the hallway. They're coming.
All
Speaking
right.
of joy.
Yeah, there's some joy.
So one quick pause here. Are you guys able to hear, or do we need to grab this microphone for them? You got it?
Got
You
it?
can hear them okay?
Okay. When they start speaking, perhaps.
All right. Who's our first speaker?
Start down there on this end. Planting the seed. Planting the seed. One day in science class, we went on a nature walk. Then we saw a scary amount of trash around our school. We wanted to do something about it.
Could you give the microphone back to the kids and let them tell us their names? I was trying to guess who was whom when you were,
Zoe,
I guess that.
Anne, Madeline, Lillian, I'm Stella, Avery, I'm Hannah, Finley, I'm Parker, and I'm also Hannah.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Y'all have questions?
I just want to thank you for coming and presenting to us. It was so very interesting. It's really sometimes scary to get up in front of the board and talk in front of adults, and you all did very, very well. I do have some questions, though, on your outdoor classroom. So is it able to be used now as a classroom, or is it still in transition?
It's still being built.
Oh, okay.
That picture was taken today.
Okay.
So it's not ready yet,
Okay.
but we're hoping it'll be ready.
And are you going to plant the flowers and everything, or will somebody else?
Portions of it.
Portion,
So
yeah.
we are working with a landscape architect who
Okay.
will be planting the majority of the flowers. However, we will be planting some of the bulbs in our raised beds, and we have a couple surprises as well in store for them that they don't know about. So.
Oh, that's
Okay.
fun.
All right. Well, that's right up my alley. I like a lot of that gardening and stuff like that. So, good luck.
You know, all the positive pumpkin vibes. This currently
Yeah.
pumpkin patch has 3 pumpkins, so.
They should go for a lot of money then.
The rains helped you out, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the rain.
Yeah.
So what's been the biggest challenge that you guys have faced this year?
You can talk about that, yeah.
When we, in the beginning of the club, we tried to grow milkweed and none of it worked. And 3 sprouts. Yeah, and it was really stressful. We still got some people to buy some of them. Yeah, see if they could grow it at their house. Yeah, see if they had better luck. Yeah, we encouraged them to take them home and try to grow them on their own. Take the challenge.
They must have my gardening skills.
We tried.
Well, when you get
That's
your
right.
compost bin, and then I guess you'll have one outside too, probably. That'll really help the plants grow really, really well.
What have you learned the most?
We have what's your recycle? Yeah,
I heard research, I heard
a lot about recycling. I didn't know you could recycle a pencil. I thought you couldn't recycle the rock inside of it, the granite. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Well, this is a really great example of student leadership and you guys initiating, looking around and finding ways to be involved and to fully engage. Also just knowing the bigger project, this has been a really collaborative approach with the outdoor classroom, with the PTO, with looking for grants, with the Education Foundation. So a lot of people came together to really match your passion and your enthusiasm. So
We
thank
also
you.
just learned that we got another grant today.
Cool.
To go towards the outdoor classroom, so it's gonna be great.
All right.
And these were all 4th graders last year that started this club. They're all 5th graders this year, so that's why it's a big deal this year to start recruiting members when they leave us to go to the school.
That's what I was gonna ask. Is
Yes.
5th grade been all you thought it would be? It's awesome. Thumbs up? All right. That's good. All right. We good? All right, well, thank you.
Thank
I think,
you.
do you have shirts
Oh,
for
yes,
them?
I do.
Yes. You have shirts
I
and
will give them
certificates?
to-
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, we'll take a few minutes and let them jump in their cars and we'll start. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
All right. The community forum portion of the meeting of the Board of Education is an opportunity for members of the community to informally address the board about a variety of topics, including issues for future consideration. Since the topics may not be issues listed and advertised on public agenda, the community forum is not intended to be a setting for dialogue with the board. Direct questions may be referred to the appropriate district personnel for future response, answered briefly if a matter of procedure, or tabled as it might be a future agenda item. Speakers who have registered at the reception area are asked to identify themselves, state their reason for addressing the board. Please address the Board of Education as a whole through the chairperson rather than individual members. We have to remember that comments pertaining to individual students, employees, or community members cannot be discussed in open meetings. And it looks like we just have one, and Myrna, will you come up, and I see you want to talk about Constitution Day? Okay.
So first off, I'd like to say that Eco Club, that is awesome. My son, who just graduated from Highlands, is an Eagle Scout, and his Eagle Scout project was to recycle crayons. So that was kind of neat, and we gifted that to Newport Elementary.
Very cool.
But what I want to talk to you guys about was, this summer I've been busy. I started a chapter of Moms for Liberty of Campbell County, Kentucky, and in conjunction with the 917 Society, we are gifting all the 8th graders with the U.S. Constitution to celebrate Constitution Day that's coming up on September 17th. And then there's also a contest going on that 10 schools across the country could win a $200 Visa gift card to show, the teachers just need to show photos or videos of how they celebrated Constitution Day. And I'm providing them with resources and fun games and that kind of stuff that they can do. And I just need to know how many 8th graders Highlands Middle School has, which I did call Holly at the office and left her a message, but I just haven't got a call back on that. And those will be delivered this week. And they are pocket-sized constitutions, so I'm excited for it. That's all I have.
Smyrna?
Great, thank you. Okay, you ready to go on to action items?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Jerry, it looks like you're up first. Talking about Johnson, please.
So, it's
Sorta.
Johnson Elementary Replacement Project, but it's really about the
Parking
parking
lot.
lot being put in where the temporary location was. So, obviously, that's, out in the middle. It's kind of a very public project, so everyone can kind of see the progress as it goes along. But I did want to report that over the last few weeks, Michaels has completed the majority of the final grading. They were removing kind of the last of the excess debris. They've been hauling in gravel starting last week, and their plan is to put the base course of asphalt down this Wednesday. So at that point, it will look like a parking lot. There's still quite a bit of work left to do, but they do plan on getting to the final bit of piping and the final coat, top coat of asphalt, and then striping as soon as they can. They did not give me a date for that because they don't have it on their schedule yet. So we have asked the high school to kind of lock that lot off Tuesday night so that Michaels can do their work on Wednesday unimpeded by anyone that might park down there. So sent that request on, and they'll block the lot Tuesday, and hopefully Thursday morning we'll have the initial portion of the lot back open for a few days until they have to do the rest of the large work.
Okay,
Any questions?
any questions for me?
Pay it.
We do have a payout to ask you to approve. It's in the amount of $89,550.
Okay. I need a motion for the approval of pay application number 1 from Paul Michaels and Sons in the amount of $89,550 for the Johnson Elementary Replacement Fieldhouse Parking Lot Project.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. We're good.
Next item on the agenda for me is asking you to give me more work to do.
Oh, good.
So we would like the board to authorize an RFP, request for proposal for architectural and engineering services to start a project at Tower Park at the soccer complex. The goal of that RFP would be to review the responses by architect and engineering firms so that the board can pick a firm to work with to design a project down there. We've discussed that project in working meetings and other forums for the last few months, but the project description does include new turf, larger turf that meets KHSA regulations, an 8-lane regulation track, new
questions at all?
Nope.
I walk around there, and that place is used about pretty much 24/7. I mean, there's, so they're on it. We've got teams, and sometimes I see, kids just practicing on their own up there. So something needs to be kind of improved up there. So that's good. All right. Any questions at all? All right. I need a motion for the approval of the RFP for architectural and engineering services at Tower Park Complex.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Thank you, Jerry. Okay, working budget, you're up.
Yep.
Ken?
So we have three sort of cycles within the budgetary process. We started a draft process in January, as you all are very familiar with. That's sort of the theoretical budget of what we believe we'll receive in revenues and what our needs are as a district. That process is refined into our tentative budget, which we approved this past May. That historically is very close to what our budget will end up being. That's how we make our staffing decisions, our overall resources. The final working budget is what we're submitting to you. We have attached up top. You can see that we've compared the working budget from 21-22 to the three different iterations of our current fiscal year 23 budget. This one does have a small handful of changes because it's the most accurate information that we have available. You see some changes in utility costs. You see some realization of revenues that would come in through SEEK, through collection of local property taxes, of motor vehicle taxes, of utility taxes. So it's a much more, well, you can see it's very close to the tentative budget, but it is updated from the tentative budget itself. And so as a result of looking at actual cost versus actual revenues, we feel very strongly that it's a conservative budget, but it's also one that's in line with where we'll be for the school year. I'm happy to take any questions that you all have, or Andy's also here if we have any specific questions.
Anybody have questions?
We went over all this.
Yeah.
We went over all of it, and I think, we had, one of the most interesting things when you're on the board is you have a working, a tentative. Next year's, you're sometimes working with 4 different things that you're looking at, and there was a lot of preliminary things that went into this to make it work because of where we were financially with SEEK and with the property values going up, so.
You'll see that our SEEK budget is a little bit higher than what we expected in our tentative budget, but it's still around $400,000 less than last year's working budget. That comes as a result, and that is with an increase in the SEEK base through the legislative process this year, and that's a direct result of property valuations and the way the SEEK formula works. But it is made up in some other areas.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. All right, I need a motion for the approval of the working budget for 22-23.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you. Okay, you're the next legal counsel too?
Yep.
All right.
Each year we ask that the board recognize and award basically a contract for legal services. Currently we have Adams Law primarily through Mary Ann Stewart, and I'm making a recommendation to the board that we continue our relationship with that legal counsel.
Okay, questions? All right. I need a motion for the approval of Mary Ann Stewart with the law firm of Adams Law PLLC to continue to provide legal counsel.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? All right. All right. Next section is going to be Keith for a little bit, right? Thank you.
Good evening. I'm here tonight to report on several things that kind of fall under my domain. So first specifically I'm going to talk about is our continuous improvement process. Throughout the years, you've heard school improvement plan, district improvement plan, SIP, DIP, CSIPs, all the acronyms, all the things. So tonight I'm just going to report out to you our process and kind of where we're at in those timelines from the schools and district standpoint. So we are currently living in phase 1 and phase 2. Schools are reviewing kind of where they are, and they're talking about
questions at all? No?
So this is an action item, so before he moves on to the funding assurances, we do
I have to
need.
do it, yeah, I know, I just didn't know, you have any other things you want to add? Okay. I need a motion for the approval of the 22-23 continuous improvement diagnostic.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Thank you.
The next
Move
thing
on.
I have on my list are these district funding assurances. So in the district, we do receive federal dollars throughout the form of different title programs. So Title 1, 2, 3, and 4. Superintendent Robinson came to me and said, you know, we have these assurances that we have to do annually. I think it'd be a really good learning opportunity for you to go through these 794 assurances, which I very much appreciate.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that exact number, but there are many. But we do receive several dollars from the federal government. So Title I funds, those talk about how can we increase student achievement, primarily for some of our most underserved students in the areas of particularly reading and math. And so we receive those federal dollars, and so we have to give assurances that we're using those dollars wisely and we're using them for that exact purpose. Title II funds look towards supporting effective instruction that all revolves around professional development. So again, we receive those Title II dollars, ensure that we're spending that money on professional development. So we gave those assurances that that is indeed the case. Title III funds are towards our ELL population. So again, ensuring that we're using that wisely. And then Title IV dollars, those are for well-rounded education, primarily around technology and school safety. And so sure, what steps are we doing towards well-rounded education? So the assurances, all 700 of them that I signed off on, with your approval, would be just validating that we are indeed using that money for the manner in which they're used. So I ask tonight that you approve those district funding assurances.
Okay.
Any questions?
Questions at all? Okay, I need a motion for the approval of district funding assurances for 2022-23.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Okay, our ACT report. So each spring, our juniors take the ACT, part of our freshman summer assessment. And so tonight, I'm going to share out some of their results. And so I believe the news is good and positive. Speaking to Mr. Darnell and those at the high school, they're pleased with the progress that our high school juniors are making. We also have the opportunity actually this fall, Governor Bashir has agreed that our seniors can take another ACT, so they'll be taking that ACT on October the 5th. But the report that I'm sharing out to you are the results from last spring. So you see there at Highlands High School, we've got a composite score of 23.1, which is a really solid score in comparison to our colleagues or peers from across the state at 18.3. So feel really proud of our students. These areas that are assessed, you can go to the next slide, Peggy. Those are 4 domains, or the 4 content areas of English, math, reading, and science. That's what, when you combine all those, that's where you got our high school composite of 23.1. We have it broken out there over a 5-year trend, you see, where our students are meeting those benchmarks. So the state of Kentucky determines a benchmark in each of those content areas, and here you can see the breakdown of our students who met that readiness benchmark. And you see we've got some really high percentages. In fact, if you go to that final column, we have a high percentage, or 39% of our students have met all 4 benchmark areas. Obviously, we're going to work to grow that number, but we still feel really good that 39% at all 4 benchmarks. And you see those areas that grow specifically in science went from 46 to 59, so a really significant jump. I talked to Mr. Darnell. He shared that within the department they're talking about the reason and the rationale as to why that happened. They can relate it back to some of their instructional practices and things that they're doing within the classroom specifically to see some of the gains, and they're trying to replicate that for their PLC work this year. So they feel confident that they're going to be able to target some of those best instructional practices, identify students who can make those gains in growth, and we'll continue to see that trend continue to climb even into next year. Bottom, that's good. Any questions on that trend?
Actually, 2 things. So, Mr. Darnell, I was telling him I was really excited to see the science score and the math score, because that was the one thing about when we started doing ACT for assessment for Kentucky, science is really math. That's what it is. And so you had to really change instruction because it wasn't, knowledge-based as far as, the knee bone's connected to the leg bone kind of thing. It's looking at data. So I was really happy that those came up. And then the other thing I wanted to ask you is, Will all seniors take that in October?
All seniors are taking this on October 5th.
Okay, so when you get those new numbers, will you bring that back so we'll have, like, this is the class of 2023, correct? Then an updated one where you can look at, you know, they continue taking the test, what ended up being, because this is just a place in time.
I will bring them assuming that they come to me.
Okay.
Any information that I get, I will gladly share.
Yeah,
Yes.
because you'll usually see that, because this is, you know, March, and if you've got a child that's in Algebra 2, they're in March of Algebra 2, so now when they take it in October, they're going to be, you know, through Algebra 2 into another math, so
Yeah, that would
I'd
be
like
the
to
hope,
share
they
that too.
acquire more knowledge and they
Yeah.
can potentially elevate their score, certainly.
Good.
Has the governor said whether they're going to make that a practice every year?
Not
Juniors
heard
and
that.
seniors, or just,
I've
okay.
not heard that.
Because most everybody takes one, but they can get paid for, and then they take it again senior year.
There's still a little bit in COVID response.
Right.
I think you still had some from last March that were a little sporadic in attendance.
That is a good idea, though.
It is. All right,
AP,
thank you.
so our advanced placement report, this shares out several things. We do have, you can see based on our chart there, advanced placement offerings at Highlands High School, for which we have many. And so what I'm sharing with you tonight, specifically are the number of students who took an AP test and the number of exams that were administered, as well as some results that were given from those results. So you can see that we had 499 students that took an AP test, and this is all grade levels. So students that in grades 9th grade and 12th grade have an opportunity to take an AP exam. That 1,018 exams were given, and 381 received a score of 3 or better. And so 3 is deemed as a passing score by the College Board. And so we feel really good. The 499, 381 score, getting a passing score is really good. The last column, we talk about the percentage of students who have one AP class while in high school, who have passed an AP class. And you can see we're at 64%. So throughout our entire career, certainly we have students who have earned passing score multiple times, but 64% of our students have at least passed one class as deemed by the College Board in AP by getting a 3 or better. And so I just want to report that out to the board tonight. Again, just more data diving in, looking at the percentage. So we have those total number of students who got that, or total number of exam scores of that 1,018, we have 728, and that yields us 72% of our students getting a passing score. And so again, really high mark there, really proud of our students and their efforts and their teachers for doing that work. And then of the 4 or 5, you see the 386, which is 38%. So that's really getting at high levels when we're talking about the high level of rigor and potentially looking at college scholarship and merit scholarships, and you can earn that 4 or 5 and really increasing your chances to do that. So really proud of our students and our teachers for delivering that rigorous content and curriculum. Proud of our students' work.
Okay, questions at all?
This is a trend that the AP, students who are successful in AP, it's typically considered to be the most rigorous coursework that you'd have, similar with an IB approach. You definitely see a correlation when you have high levels of students that are succeeding there with our highest and our peaks in ACT and a variety of other areas. So we do have some attention to do in terms of seeing where that trend is, but I think the high school is fully engaged in that. And these would be numbers that the overwhelming majority of high schools would be ecstatic about. So, definitely something to celebrate in some areas that we can still refocus.
Heather, thank you for sharing that. It looks good.
Thanks. All right, the last thing here to talk about is site-based decision-making council and where we are with that. So I just want to let you know that all of our schools have their site-based councils. We have both a combination of parents and staff who are experienced members and new members. They've all completed their training and submitted their certificates. Additionally, all of our technical documents is lined out by KRS, states that, open meetings requests, curation of documents, all those procedures have been gone
Have we set a meeting to meet with them? Say like,
That's
okay.
a board council meeting like we've done.
right. We did, I think we did that, what, last January, February?
Typically, we would do December or January
Yeah,
as we
January.
get into the needs assessment
Mhm.
portion of our school year.
Okay, maybe we ought to just get that on the calendar, so.
Any other
Okay.
questions? Morning?
No, I don't think so.
Appreciate you guys. I think that's it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Keith.
Thank you. Okay, Wes, you're next.
All right, guys, I'm doing our Title IX report. As of last year as well, so it's the same thing's going on this year, and we kind of 2 of the tests instead of 3 due to COVID. We did not pass any of those tests this year. I'll kind of give you a little bit of explanation. Test 1 is the numbers test. It's kind of the new participants in that are coming into schools and our current numbers with athletes in our underrepresented gender, which would be our girls. We had an influx of freshman boys this year, which kind of skewed those numbers a little bit. And I'm starting to find now, I'm starting to gather some information that we've got a lot of girls that aren't, that were more or less triple threat athletes or dual threat athletes that are now almost cutting those 2 out and specializing more in one of those sports. It's starting to become a trend, I think, in kind of all the sports in general. When we used to have multi-sport athletes going on, that are starting to specialize in that one. And we're working with our coaches to try to work with our other coaches as well to try to, I don't know what's called, sharing athletes, but making sure that we're available to each of their sports that they're going to try to do. So we're working together on that as well. The second test, expanding our sports that we have. When we did our survey last year, the 2 sports that came up for our female athletes were lacrosse and field hockey. Well, lacrosse is not a sanctioned sport by KHSA, and field hockey, when you look at the current school listings of where field hockey is, every single school is involved. So that's just going to be, it's really tough for us to expand into that sport when the only places that are having those type of sports are the ones in Louisville. So that means we'll be traveling there. One thing that I think we could possibly do is to expand some of the sports that do have a good number of female athletes, which are our archeries and our wrestling starting to expand with a lot more female athletes as well. Archery has a good number of female athletes that we can have. It's just really hard for practice space time and things of that nature, especially when you have a group of 25, 30 of them to get them all into what they practice at our fitness center. It's just really tough to do all that. And without having any more space per se to have some of these events, it just makes it really tough. Scheduling is hectic around here just because we don't have as many facilities as some of these other places have. So having to put 2 or 3 people in the field house at the same time is kind of the norm for us. So we're working on, figuring out how to keep and retain some more female athletes and also get them more interested in a lot more sports and get them participating in a lot more. We're having an uptick once again, I think, in bowling as well. Bowling's become very, very popular and we're actually very, very good. That's actually a sport that we're starting to get some of our other athletes that want something to do kind of in the winter on that break. Sometimes we may have from fall to spring, and bowling's become one of those ones that's been coming up, it's been an uptick in our female participation.
What's the 3rd prong test that was waived this year?
It's accommodating kind of everybody's interest. It's been for the last 3 years, they've negated it due to COVID. So,
And remind me, dance team and cheerleading aren't
Correct.
Title IX, so we have a lot of females have chosen to do that.
correct.
Right.
And then in our football, like I said, it's the one
Yeah.
that's just kind of skews us a little bit because
Yeah.
of all things.
You may not have an answer to this question, and we can look at it at a different time, but when you look at, I understand the idea of specialization within sports and how that could hurt the Title IX assessment, but are we looking to see, do we have a similar percentage of female athletes that are participating in at least one sport? Is that something that we looked at?
We haven't looked at it just yet, but we could look at it.
Yeah, that would be great.
Wes, when you said you had an influx of freshman boys, was it just football, or was it football, soccer, cross-country, all across the
It was
board?
kind of all across the board.
Okay.
Football's the biggest one, of
Right.
course, because that's always just a big sport around here. But yes, it's kind of been across the board, but it was a big influx of football as well.
Okay.
As I remember, that class has a high percentage of boys in it too, doesn't it?
It does.
Okay, it does.
And we've had something, I think, around 60, 65 boys that are now participating in our course, so it's a good amount.
And as I remember, aren't all these classes this year high in boys?
It's
Yeah, I think
it's
they're,
pretty skewed.
it's
It is-
pretty skewed towards boys, which, having been a counselor, always makes for interesting
lot of energy.
dynamics, you know? Yeah, so, okay. So that's another thing too, when you've got a bigger population.
It does, yes, it does hurt us a little bit in that aspect, but we're trying to work on getting those girls that are participating in multiple sports. A lot of girls, or a lot of kids nowadays are starting to, which is weird to me, they want to work. A lot of kids have jobs, and they're not participating in certain sports because they would like to go out and work. I never wanted to, I was a sports person, so, but that's one of the other issues that we're kind of trying to do as well.
And I really have nothing that I can tell you anecdotally other than what people tell me. I think COVID really affected people not wanting to run around like they used to and do multiple sports. You know, they're just kind of growing inward and going, we're going to do one sport per kid or whatever. So,
And then, I guess it goes back to a lot too, that we have the recruiting aspect, and I mean recruiting just in the school system. If you have a teacher that is a coach, it's easy to say, hey, do you want to try out for such and such sport? Hey, you should come check this one out. Happened to me when I wasn't going to play football at all, and I happened to have my biology teacher was on maternity leave, and first replacement was a football coach. So, why don't you come on out? I said, sure. So,
the rest is history. That's right. Do you have any other questions or comments or anything? No? Well, thank you.
Thank you.
So with that report, then, you have to write up, you know,
Correct.
what things we're doing to
what things
combat
we're
that
doing
or
to combat
whatever.
that and get that. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, next is board committee updates. Does anybody have any committee updates?
Well, I know we met as an audit committee 2 months ago. Having not been here last month, I'm going to guess Jeff gave an update, or maybe he didn't.
I don't think
There's
you
no real
did.
significant update. We met with the auditors and, expressed our normal concerns relative to the audit and what our expectations are. And they'll forge ahead with the audit if they haven't already. I can't remember. what
Yeah,
they have.
we have not received a report yet.
Mhm.
It's finalized, right?
All right. Do you have anything?
No.
Okay.
I think when we met, but we met
Before?
well, on the salary committee
Yeah.
a long time.
Sorry. Julie would have been on the Title IX committee, so if she were here, she would be making that report. My committee was breakfast, and I continue to feed people, so we will continue this year bringing food again because, October will be the first time. I want to thank the community. We did an opening day breakfast, and I'm all about joy and grace and happiness. So, and we had enough people that donated money that I was able to bring food to late arrivals through the year. So we'll continue to do that this year too. So you'll see me in October, I think, once I figure out how much money I have left. Right? Okay.
You just met budget.
Oh, and budget met as well, and you saw the detail on budget as well. We meet quarterly on budget committee and go through things. So that's why I was telling you all before. I felt really good about where we were because we've been, working through and trying to figure out where we could cut and what we could move and that sort of thing. So, all right. Anything else? Any other committees? Okay. We will meet, I think, teacher grants. I may be meeting with that too, with the teacher scholarships. That it's usually in the fall sometime, so that should come up too. Okay. Next part is the approval of the consent agenda. I need a motion with all the board members having had the opportunity to review and pursue any questions about all the items contained therein. I need a motion for the approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? All right. And then, new business or other business. Do you have any other business? Okay. I have a really nice note here from the Odyssey of the Mind Teams, and it was thanking us for sponsoring, and we allowed them to attend the World Finals at the Iowa State University, and they had come to other board meetings and just really had a great presence, and it's been a wonderful program. So it was a note from their coaches thanking us for that. So we're pretty excited about that. Any other business? You? Okay. Well, with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.